This actually is a farm I haven't been on for years, and I sort of reacquired permission to be on it again. And I was making my way down the path here on a nice summer evening to see two rabbits just on the crest of a rise about 60-70 yards in front of me. So I lowered my profile a wee bit and slowly started to see if I could stalk within 35-40 yards of them. Once I was happy enough, I'd got within about 30 yards, I set up for the shot, and I don't know what went wrong. I fired, both rabbits ran off, and I thought, I must have missed.
How did I miss that?
So I went to walk on and then realised one of the rabbits was still sitting out. I got set for another shot, only for the rabbit to start to run towards me. And it was this point I realised it was the rabbit I had shot at earlier, and it actually wounded it. I took a second shot which missed totally, I absolutely fluffed it, but connected with a third shot, rabbit down. I was totally disgusted with myself that I'd wounded the rabbit in the first place, never mind the fact I'd missed it the second time and took a third shot. So I took a shot or two at a fence post just to make sure the rifle was zeroed and everything, because I'd unscrewed the silencer off and on earlier and thought maybe that had affected the zero, but no, everything was tip top. Turrets were still in the right place, so I guess it was me. I was that disgusted with myself I didn't even film picking the rabbit up and hanging it in the fence line to pick up later. But not too far down the path I spotted these two wee fellas feeding away in the grass just about 5 yards away. I left them well alone, they're too cute to shoot. There were other rabbits out, but not always in a stalkable position. But I soldiered on to see if I could find something easier to get a shot at. And as I was coming up through this laneway here by the side of the old derelict house, I spotted a movement in the distance. It was a rabbit just at the edge of the fence line, standing in a mound of dung. He was a wee bit too far away, especially after my confidence getting a knock with the first rabbit I took a shot at. So I decided to get a wee bit closer, get within about 30 yards. I set the rifle up in the sticks and got myself comfortable. And took the shot. The rabbit seemed to be kicking about a bit, so I quickly made my way over to make sure that it was properly dispatched. The farmer had dumped a lot of our dung and bedding out here, and it was quite soft, so I had to be very careful where I put my feet that I didn't go through the crust on it. It was a youngish rabbit, but a good size. The shot had hit a little lower than I had liked, but it still dispatched the rabbit by the time I had got there. I walked into the next field. The sun was setting quickly behind me, as you can see, but I did notice some movement down at the bottom of the field. There's definitely a rabbit in the bottom corner. It was open ground, no cover between me and the rabbit, and I was just going to have to try and bluff it. Bluffing it basically employs very slowly, cautiously walking your way up to the rabbit, lowering your profile so you don't stand out as much, and trying not to make any quick or aggressive moves to spook the rabbit. But in this case it didn't work, because just as I was about to sit down for the shot, the rabbit ran into the hedge. But I did notice there was a couple of rabbits out on the right hand side. Maybe because the sun was directly behind me at this point that they didn't quite see me, I don't know. But I slowly got myself within about 35 yards. I didn't have to go too far. The rabbit was still there. Cautiously sat down. This time I didn't bother with the sticks. I just shot off the knee, because I thought the rabbit was going to go into the hedge at any moment, and took a nice clean shot. The shot was well placed this time, and the rabbit didn't feel a thing. I gave the customary belly squeeze to get rid of the urine and flicked the congealed blood out of the rabbit's ears onto my trousers. Thank goodness for naturally grown handy wipes. So I picked the rabbit and the rifle up and headed on to the next field. Now this field has a bit of a hilly round to it, and I was slowly making my way up, keeping an eye on the grass in the foreground along the hedgerow, checking for any activity. And sure enough, I spotted a rabbit. He was a wee bit too far away, and he seemed quite alert, too alert to try and bluff it in this time. But I don't think he'd spotted me, so I decided to stalk in. This involved, at first, crouched over. Then I got onto my hands and knees. And then for the final approach, down onto my elbows and my belly. I'm basically trying to keep as low into the long grass as possible, so the rabbit has as little to see of me as possible. I got within 35 yards, got myself set up in a nice prone position, no bipods involved. and took the shot, which bowled the rabbit over nicely. Then I gathered myself up and my equipment, which is a good idea to do while you're there, because if you walk away and leave your sticks or sometimes your rangefinder sitting in a green field, it can be very hard to find it again. The shot placement was good. The pellet looked as if it had struck the eye and went out through the back of the head. So I give the rabbit a wee bit of a squeeze to get rid of the urine, and then head it back down the field again to get my game bag. So the next likely hotspot I went to check out was at this end of the field. The field turns 90 degrees here, and the rabbits usually will sit just outside of the hedgerow, just round the corner. The only problem is they might only be sitting 20-25 yards out, maybe less. So to stalk them without them actually seeing you, I got down into a prone position and tried to ease my way out round the corner, hoping that I would manage to get a shot before the rabbits ran into the hedgerow. I got the rifle sort of into my shoulder, ready for a shot, and then side shuffled my way as I cleared the last bit of grass in front of me, so the rifle would be ready to shoot as soon as I saw a rabbit. But as you can see, as soon as I did clear the hedgerow and the grass, the rabbit saw me and cleared off. But I did notice a rabbit that was still sitting out about 45 yards away. Now, I wasn't sure if he'd still be there by the time I got within about 30-35 yards, but I decided I would have a go at it. We'll speed this wee bit up just in case you think that's me going flat out. But I got myself within a more comfortable range. Again, set up in a prone position. And took the rabbit again with a nice headshot. The shot placement was good. The only thing was, it was only a wee babby of a thing, hardly half grown. So again, I give its belly a wee squeeze and head it back to get my game bag. It wasn't the only rabbit I had an opportunity at that night. I spotted one just as the light was totally failing on me. I allowed for about 40 yards for the rabbit and missed. Reloaded. Allowed a wee bit more and clipped its ears. So it didn't all go my own way, but I had 5 rabbits for my efforts, 4 here and 1 still to pick up in the laneway on the way by.